Hello everyone, welcome to day number 19, simplifying expressions. Okay, if you look at page number 1, you're going to see some expressions and you need to go ahead and combine like terms. So let's see what that will look like. Okay, so if you have an expression such as 4x take away 8y, take away 5x plus negative 2y. The first thing that we want to do is combine our like terms. So we have a 4x and we have a minus 5x. Well, 4 take away 5 is negative 1x, but we know that there's always an invisible 1 in front of a variable, so we would just put negative x because that means negative 1x. Okay, then we have negative 8y plus negative 2y is negative 10y, and that's how we would simplify that. Okay, so for number 2 we have a 1/5 x and a 9/5 x. Well, if we combine those, remember when we're adding fractions, we add the numerators. 1 plus 9 is 10, and we keep the denominator 5. So we have 10/5 x. Then we have plus 3y, take away 6y. Well, 3 take away 6 is negative 3y. So we could simplify this further because when our numerator is greater than our denominator, we can go ahead and divide. So 10 divided by 5 is 2x, take away 3y. This is why, boys and girls, it's so important for you to memorize your multiplication and your division facts, because when we're doing middle school math, you need to have that down pat. You need to know that inside and out so that you could be successful with middle school math. Okay, this is why Miss Polizzi is really hard on you about studying your times tables, because if you don't have that, in your head, in and out quickly, then, it just makes it a little bit more difficult. But we're going to get there and we're going to work together. Okay, all right. So if you look at page number 2, you'll get some examples that are going to show the distributive property. And you'll have to figure out whether that specific expression is represented by letter A or letter B. And that's what you would put in each of these boxes. Okay, so let's just go ahead and see what that might look like. Okay. So here you have the distributive property. We know that when we see parentheses, it means a distributive property. So we draw our 2 arrows, our small arrow and our big arrow. And we say 2, let's look at our small arrow, 2 times 5x is 10x. Okay, they both have 10x, so far A and B are right. Then we have our big arrow, 2 times 10 is 20. So our answer is 10x plus 20. So we would choose choice B. Okay? All right. Let's look at page number 3. Page number 3 will look like this. You will have an expression which you will have to first distribute and then combine like terms. And you have your answer choices on the bottom, so you'll just drag and drop the correct choices above. Okay, but let's look at what that would look like if we were trying to simplify those types of expressions. Okay, so let's look at the first one here. Again, we have parentheses, so we draw our 2 arrows, our small arrow and our big arrow. So if we're going to distribute, looking at the small arrow, you have negative 4 times 3x, which is negative 12x. And then looking at our big arrow, we have negative 4 times negative 2, which is positive 8. And the positive 10 will just bring it down. And that's how we were able to distribute. Now in this column, we need to combine like terms. Well, we only have one x term, so that's negative 12x. I'll write that down. And then we need to combine our numbers. 8 plus 10 is 18. Okay? Over here, we have 16x minus 1. Remember, there's an invisible 1. I'm just going to put that invisible 1 there. We're going to draw out two arrows, our small and our large, and we'll say 16x minus 1 times negative 2x is positive 2x. And our large arrow is negative 1 times positive 4, which is minus 4. Okay, so to combine our like terms, we have 16x plus 2x, which is 18x minus 4. Okay, minus 4, minus, yeah, because we have a positive there. Great. So here we're going to, again, we have an invisible 1. I'll put it in. Our small arrow and our large arrow. So we have negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. And we'll just bring our 18x. Now, when we combine our like terms, we have two x terms. We have negative 4x minus 18x. When you combine them, you have 22x plus 3. And that's how you would solve that page, okay? All right, so our last page, page number 4, we are given an expression and we need to not only simplify it, but we need to drag and drop the steps and the properties that we will be using when simplifying, okay? So I'll show you what that will look like, okay? So over here we have negative 3 times 2x plus 5 plus 4x. So it's distributive property because I have my parentheses, my small, and my big arrow. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Big arrow, negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. And then I will just go ahead and bring down my 4x. Well, what number property did I use? I used the distributive property. So I would drag that property right next to it. Distributive property, okay? Now, the next thing I need to do is simplify this further. Well, I have a negative 6x and a positive 4x, and if I combine those two x's, that gives me negative 2x minus 15. So property B would be I combine like terms, okay? And so go ahead and do the best that you can to do day 19, and I will see you in day number 20. Bye-bye.